Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. And today we're finally going over my November wrap up for movies that I watched and bought in the month of November 2023. Now, I didn't watch as many movies as October, and honestly, there's some good reason to that, but today we're just going to go over my first time watches because I don't know when I did it, but when I covered literally everything that I watched, it ended up being like an hour and 50 minutes or something like, or not an hour 50 minutes, hour 10 minutes or something like that. It's a beefy boy, and I do not want to edit that. So we're gonna try and keep things down. Hopefully, we can get this in like under 30. That's a goal. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's just get things started. So let's get things started off with what I watched this past month. Tongue twister. So 4 days into the month was when I watched the first movie, for the first time at least. So I ended up watching Straight Outta Compton. So this one is actually a pretty solid one that I'm surprised I didn't watch until very recently. But I know I was like saving up like this certain day to watch it with my friend, and we just never like got around to watching it together up until last month. My friend is actually a huge NWA fan, so he was excited to watch it. I was excited to watch it because I also really like NWA. And overall, yeah, it's a great movie for sure. Definitely like not my favorite biopic, but honestly one of the better ones out there. Fantastic music, fantastic performances. I thoroughly enjoyed it. B plus. I think that's safe to give. And then on the 5th, I checked out Raging Bull. So October, I believe, was when Killers of the Flower Moon came out. So I was in a little bit of a um, mood to watch Martin Scorsese movies. I just didn't get around to watching them in October because I was busy watching horror movies. So checked out Raging Bull in November, and I loved it. It was fantastic. I know a lot of people are saying that it's probably Scorsese's like best movie. I mean, Raging Bull specifically, but honestly, not my favorite Scorsese movie. It's pretty slow, and I mean that's like really my only negatives that I didn't love the pacing to it. But really, everything else I thought was fantastic. Fantastic performances, great writing, great direction. Love the black and white filter to it. Just really great stuff. So I think I'll give that one an A minus. Next up on the 7th, I ended up checking out two movies. So first thing was Past Lives. So this one just came out this past year. Heard nothing but amazing things about it, and I ended up getting the digital code off of a friend. Um, and I didn't like think it was the best thing ever, but I do really respect what it was going for, and I did enjoy it. Um, it wasn't like I said, like the best movie of the year, like a lot of people are really saying it is, but definitely a really, really solid one for sure. Um, is it one that I'm gonna rewatch very often, if at all? Probably not, but I did dig it. It was a good movie, really solid, good performances, good emotion, good writing, great direction. Loved the cinematography to it. As a whole, though, I just didn't really like conjive with the like not jive with the characters. I didn't like really relate to them. But yeah, I still really like this movie as a whole. B plus. Yeah, it's a good one. And then that same day, I checked out Shutter Island from Scorsese, and it was really good. Yeah, I know a lot of people were like really, really, really hyping this one up, and it's definitely not Scorsese's best. I'll say that it's probably my least favorite Scorsese movie I've seen thus far. But still, saying that this one is my least favorite Scorsese film thus far tells you how great of a freaking director he is. When he's on his A game, he's on his A game. Like out of I think the 9 movies I've seen from Scorsese now, all of them are at least 4 out of 5s, B pluses and up. So Yeah, I really liked Shutter Island. Great writing, great performances, fantastic visuals. Just a really long movie, and I didn't think that the pacing really helped that length either. Um, 2 hours is, or 2.5 hours almost is a lot, a lot for a Scorsese movie of this specific type, though. I mean, Killers of the Flower Moon, it's a long ass movie, but you know, I I still think that Killers of the Flower Moon is a good bit better than this one, honestly. The twist was pretty cool, I will say, but you really, really have to pay attention to really like remember everything that's going on, like certain details. Uh, but really, other than just the pacing, I thought the movie was really solid. So I'll give it a B plus. It was good. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, not just good. It was great. It was great. Um, then I checked out the next day, After Hours, so another Scorsese movie. And this one actually lived up to the hype, I will say. So I know a lot of people were either saying that it was one of Scorsese's weirdest, and a lot of people saying it was Scorsese's best, which I'm kind of in the middle. It's one of his weirder movies for sure, probably the weirdest that I've seen. And it, I believe, didn't get a Blu-ray up until the Criterion release this year, and I do have the Criterion over there. I'm not going to go get it because I'm recording and I didn't just get it this past month. So yeah, it's nothing new to the collection. So yeah, but I did finally check it out. I really enjoyed it. Very solid movie. Very strange. Visually pretty cool. The cinematography is actually really fantastic for this one. Some of the performances were a little strange, and it's definitely a little cheesy, I will say, but very, very solid movie. B plus for that one. And then I ended up checking out First Night, which is I believe I watched this one in like history class or something like that. I didn't really know a whole lot about this movie. Actually, little to nothing about the movie before seeing it, and it's a pretty strange movie to say the least. It was it was okay. I like the action sequences and the music, and the performances were pretty decent, even though there was a lot of like really rapey subtext to it, which I didn't really like. But you know, and also the fact that Sean Connery just like randomly makes out with this chick like all the time in the movie, and it's very awkward to sit through. Uh, but yeah, it's it was kind of cool, I guess. Like it was fine. It was okay. C plus. Yeah, it was fine. Um, Notorious. So the Notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls, whatever the frick you want to call him. Uh, his biopic movie. I dug it. Um, it wasn't the best biopic per se. I was kind of surprised that not a ton of people have really seen the movie. At least on like Letterboxd, I think it's only at like 25,000 people watched or something like that. And honestly, I think it's pretty underseen. Um, it's a solid movie. It honestly, the only real thing I didn't really like about it is the fact that the stuff involving Tupac, like his death specifically. Spoiler alert if you didn't know the reality behind Tupac Shakur being dead. Uh, he dies in the movie. It kind of seems a little biased, but yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty interesting movie, I will say. It's pretty good, pretty solid. Nothing more, nothing less. B. I'll give it a B. And then I checked out Evolution. This one, I heard some decent things, and I was interested in checking it out. I think I had like the DVD or something like that from Goodwill from like I want to say like a year ago, something like that. And I heard it was pretty funny, and it had Sean William Scott in it, so I was interested. I was kind of bored by this one, honestly. Uh, didn't really find it very interesting, unfortunately. Sean William Scott, I love the guy. He really wasn't that funny in this one, honestly, but it was fine. I had an okay time with it, I guess. When you get to like the alien stuff, it kind of got interesting, but really, I just didn't find a whole lot of great things to say about this one, unfortunately. So a C plus. And then I checked out Saw X finally after what was it, 2 months, I believe. Rented it, and yeah, it was fire. It was great. Uh, Fantastic Saw movie. Probably my favorite Saw sequel. It's up there with Saw 2 for sure. And honestly, what really made it work was the fact that you put Jigsaw, John Kramer, in the forefront, and it helped the movie out drastically, like tremendously. And honestly, it is probably better made than the first movie, but I do have a good bit of like nostalgia for that first movie, and honestly, I think that twist is masterful. So I, I'm partial to the first one. So this one isn't quite my favorite Saw movie, but easily the best, like technically speaking, the best Saw movie, best made, best written, and everything like that. It's technically the best, but not my favorite per se. So yeah, regardless, it's still awesome. I love Saw X. Don't get me wrong. Not my favorite Saw movie though. So it's like a B plus though. One of my favorites of the year actually. It's great. And I checked out Loki season 2. So Loki season 2. This started up in October. I believe it was like the first week of October. Wrapped up last month. And boy, that was a really, really good season, man. Fantastic, fantastic season. I love the first season of Loki. I think up until now, it was probably my favorite Disney Plus season. Okay. And I mean, it is my favorite Disney Plus show, so I was looking forward to season 2. And I think I waited up until every episode dropped and then binged it. Or no, I watched the first episode when it dropped, and I was like, yeah, that was really good. But I'm gonna wait just because I got other stuff going on. Uh, Binged it like the last week it was airing, and it was great. I think the hype was worth it for sure. It probably, arguably, the best season of TV that the MCU's produced. It's fantastic. Definitely up there with season 1, and there wasn't a weak episode to me in season 2. So like, it kind of weighs itself out. I think there's some like stronger plots in season 1 than there is in season 2, but there's a weaker episode in season 1. Like there's a clear weak episode in season 1, and there isn't in season 2 for me. So yeah, there's that. So I'm gonna give season 2 an A minus. Yeah, A minus. One of the better things that the MCU's produced in a long, long time. So probably, probably my favorite Phase 5 project, either that or Guardians 3. Even though I didn't check out the Marvels, so I can't really rank everything for you. So yeah. And by the way, yeah, I did not check out the Marvels. I had zero interest in seeing that movie. So yeah. And I checked out The Killer over on Netflix. So this is David Fincher's new film. And while it's not my favorite David Fincher movie. Sorry, I keep saying David Lynch. Uh, so yeah, David Fincher. It's not my favorite of his movies, but it's definitely a great one. It's fantastically made. It's David Fincher. What are you gonna expect? It's fantastically made, fantastically acted, great writing. Pretty much everything about it I loved. It's just really slow and not like super action packed, which I didn't love. Um, but and also it's kind of like a generic Hitman story. So like basic setup. Hitman screws up the hit, and then he has to recuperate. He has to go rogue, clean up everything that he messed up. Um, so yeah, I thought it was great. Um, Kind of softened up on it over time, but I still really enjoyed the movie as a whole. B plus. And then my big video that decided to just like randomly blow up last month was my bad movie review for the one, the only Expendables 4. This movie sucks, dude. This movie freaking sucks. Uh, I was looking forward to it. I'm an Expendables fan. I like the first three. Some of them better than the others. I will say, Expendables 1 and 2 are better than the third. And all those three are so much better than the fourth movie. Unfortunately, even though I was looking forward to the fourth movie, those three are so much better than this latest entry. It's not great. Unfortunately, it's bad. It's really bad. Um, Green screen is awful. The performances are pretty bad. Some of the dialogue is kind of fun. But yeah, this movie, man, it sucks. D minus, D minus. School of Rock. This one has been hyped up for me for the longest time, man. I'm telling you, uh, Jack Black. He's one of my favorite actors for sure. He's just such a great like vocal performer, and yeah, this movie just like uh, kind of proved that he's still amazing. Honestly, uh, couldn't tell you really anymore. I love Jack Black in the movie. Thought that the kid actors were fun in the movie. The music was great. Uh, I love the classic rock stuff to it. Like it's clearly a movie that loves music, so I love that. So yeah, that one gets a solid A minus for me. I definitely really enjoyed that movie. And then I checked out Sharper over on Apple TV Plus, and I thought it was pretty good. It was really hyped up at the like I think it was somewhere toward the beginning of the year. It went over there and everybody was raving about it. How it was like one of the best of the year, at least at that point in the year. And I hear nobody talking about it anymore. But one of my friends wanted to watch it with me, so I checked it out, and I thought it was it was pretty good. It wasn't like nearly the best thing that's like touched the grace of this year, but it was pretty solid. It's like a B minus for me. It's pretty good. Um, then I checked out Thanksgiving in theaters, so the new Eli Roth horror movie. It's a slasher, so I was looking forward to it because I like Eli Roth. And you know what? I don't care what anyone says. I love this movie. It's Eli Roth's best by far, I'd say. And yeah, it's just a really great, throwback slasher movie. And I mean, technically, on a technical level, it's not amazing, but on a personal enjoyment level, it's great. I'm gonna give it like an A minus. I think it really captures like the Thanksgiving feel to it. Even though it could really like take place any time of the year, it captures the Thanksgiving feel, and I really enjoyed that about the movie. So yeah, I loved it. And then I checked out Argo. So this was one of the Ben Affleck movies that I hadn't seen yet, and honestly, kind of overrated. Um, I think it's pretty well made and pretty well performed as well. And honestly, though, it's just the story that didn't grip me and the characters that really didn't stick with me nearly that much. I respect the movie more than I really liked it, so I'm gonna just give it a B. It was pretty good. Then after I bought the 4K, which I mean, kind of a spoiler alert for the what I bought section, but I checked out Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington in Two Guns. Now, this one, I know it's not technically a great movie, but I really enjoyed it. It's just a really fun movie. Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg have great chemistry in this movie, and honestly, it just wouldn't work without them. And it's kind of just a basic like action thriller setup. It's a basic story, but honestly, it's just a really fun time. I really loved Denzel and Marky Mark in the roles. It was a blast. B plus for sure. I really enjoyed it. Technically, it's not great, but it's just a really fun time. It's a blast. Uh, then I checked out The Holdovers in the theaters. Top two of the year, I want to say. It's fantastic. It I loved it. It's so good. Um, almost brought a tear to my eye. It was genuinely just one of the absolute best movies of this entire year. My theater, it didn't get it until like I think it was the weekend that Thanksgiving came out. So I ended up I think I was like on a break for school or something like that, and I ended up going to see it with my grandpa just on a whim, and I loved it. It was fantastic. We both loved it actually. Um, so yeah, it was just a fantastic time. One of my new favorite Christmas movies. I want to say, just such a great time at the theaters. It's funny, it's charming, it's sad. All of the emotions piled into one. It's a perfect movie. A plus. I loved it. And then I checked out. Sorry about that. I checked out Cool Hand Luke. This one, it was a classic that was hyped up to me for the longest time. I've heard it's one of the most like quotable movies ever. So yeah, I ended up like loving it. I've seen Holes, so like the Disney movie, and so I could definitely tell where that movie got it. Well, the book and the movie got its influences because man, are the stories super similar. And yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I loved it. That one gets an A for me. And then I actually went to go see Thanksgiving a second time in the theaters, and that was the only movie that I've seen actually any movie in the theaters. This is the only movie I've seen twice in the theaters, technically, because we'll talk about this with the next one too. So it's kind of an interesting story. So I went to go see Napoleon. So this is the weekend that Napoleon came out, right? And I walked out of Napoleon. We'll get to Napoleon, right? So walked out of Napoleon and then went across the hall to Thanksgiving because there was a showing that had just no, it hadn't even started yet. So we walked in. Me and my grandpa went to go see Napoleon. So then we walked over to Thanksgiving. We got 20 minutes into the movie, and the projector shut off. The lights came on. Nobody had bought it. Nobody else had bought a ticket. So we didn't end up getting to see it all the way through. But regardless, the first 20 minutes are still great. So it was still a fun time to see in the theaters for a second time, technically. Yeah, for a second time. So yeah, it's still A minus. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then for Napoleon, I committed to, or I got two kind of life goals, not really life goals, but like goals, I guess, in terms of like theater going experiences. Walking out of a movie and seeing a movie more than once in the theater in the same day. So Napoleon sucked. I had a terrible time in the first half hour of the movie that I saw. Why am I laughing so much, man? This is awful, dude. Um, yeah, Napoleon was not good. I kind of hated it. No, I didn't really hate it. It was like well made. Like the action was pretty cool. The visuals were stunning. That's why I really wanted to go see it in the theaters is because of the visuals. but the story and the acting were awful. Um, Geez, like I don't think I've ever seen a more incoherent story ever in a movie. And jeez, is Joaquin Phoenix just like sleepwalking through this movie, man? He doesn't emote in the movie. It's just always this deadpan face. He's never happy. And my grandpa even made the joke as soon as we walked out of the theater. Jeez, how depressed was Napoleon after his horse died in the first 20 minutes? Jeez, like it's like exactly. Jeez, that dude was just like deadpan the entire time. And like Vanessa Kirby was okay in the movie, but this movie was not it. That one gets a C minus, being generous on that one. Then I checked out The Elephant Man. So this is this is where I got David Lynch from. Okay, so The Elephant Man, the first of the 3 David Lynch movies that I was on a bit of a um like a hype train for watching his movies, I guess, for a little while. But we'll get to the other ones when I do my December wrap up because I only ended up watching uh, Elephant Man in November out of the 3 that I watched. So yeah, Elephant Man is a phenomenal movie. I love David Lynch, man. Frisky, if you're watching this, I'm sure you are, man, because you're awesome like that. But he was the guy that really got me into David Lynch's filmography. He kind of guided me through how I should watch his movies and everything, and like that. And up until I saw Elephant Man, I think I'd only seen 3 of his movies. So Dune. I have it right here because I didn't just buy it, but I do have it with me for whatever reason. I don't even know why I bought this, but for the collection, I guess. And then Blue Velvet and Eraserhead, which we'll also talk about Eraserhead in a little bit. But yeah, it Elephant Man is arguably one of Lynch's best out of his insane filmography, and it's easily his sweetest movie that I've seen. That's kind of saying a lot. Or I mean, it's not really saying a lot though, because like his other movies are just kind of like vulgar and gross and disturbing. But this one, it's just a very charming, sweet movie. You root for the main character. Um, it's just a fantastic movie. That one gets an A. Loved it. And then I checked out Black Hawk Down as the final first time watch. Besides a little short called Too Many Cooks, which if you haven't seen is like one of the best parodies of all time. I'm not gonna review that on here though because it's a short film for Adult Swim. So yeah, I'm not gonna review it on here. But yeah, the last real like first time watch that I saw in November was Black Hawk Down, Ridley Scott's movie. And man, Ridley Scott was not on a huge hot streak for me, I guess, because I thought Black Hawk Down was just pretty good. A lot of people are saying that it's like a classic, and going into it, I was like, just kind of bored. The action is like everything that we've seen at this point. The writing was pretty generic. I just thought that the soundtrack was really dang good in the movie, and that was like really the main thing that I enjoyed about it. And the direction is pretty solid, but it was pretty good. Nothing more, nothing less. It was just pretty good. I'll give it a B minus. All right, now it's time for our quick little segment of what I bought in the month of November. Woohoo, yippee. Okay, so this is just movies. I didn't buy any um records or anything like that. I don't believe I bought any records last month or got any. But yeah, I ended up getting quite a few movies because of the Criterion sale last month, Black Friday, um just you know all sorts of sales. So first things first, actually, I ordered something off of Disney Movie Insiders because I had a lot of points, and I was actually gonna use them on some other stuff that I also got this past month, but I didn't need to because I found them in a thrift shop, which we'll talk about after I talk about this. Oh my god, my hair is awful. I hate my hair. Jeez. Okay, anyway, Off of Disney Movie Insiders, we got Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen biopic movie. I want to rewatch this one, but honestly, the first time I watched it, I thought it was okay. It's grown on me a good bit though, over time, and I do want to rewatch it again, like I said. So yeah, uh, at a Goodwill, I found The Pianist. Um, I know this one's directed by Roland Polanski, I believe. Yeah, Roman Polanski, not Roland. Roman Polanski. I know he's kind of a controversial dude, but I do want to check this out because I've heard it's amazing. So yeah. Also at Goodwill, found Interview with the Vampire with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, I should mention. But yeah, this one I ended up watching earlier this year, and I thought it was just pretty good. Uh, I mean, not just pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. Um, not like the best vampire movie ever. Like, like some people really hype it up to be, but it was good. I liked it. And then Pearl. This one I'm surprised I didn't own up until now, but I'm glad I do because this movie is awesome. It's the prequel to X, which I do own, and I don't know where it's at. I believe it's somewhere over there. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, I love Pearl and I love X. So, yep. Great little double feature there. Can't wait for Maxine. And then I ended up going to uh, another like thrift shop of some sort. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like, um, how would you describe it? It's like multiple little shops inside of one shop. It's like stands inside of a shop, and I like the little shop. I go there like every now and then to see what they have. And I actually came out. I mean, I also got Pearl there actually. So, um, yeah. So I ended up getting quite a few movies there. This most recent time I went there. So, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. This one is a movie that I haven't seen yet. So I've heard kind of bad things and also some pretty decent things about it. So I'm willing to give it a shot because why not? Thor. So this is one of the things that I wanted to get off of Disney Movie Insiders, but then I didn't have to because I found these in the thrift shop. So yeah, Thor. Got that to fill out my missing Marvel or MCU movies. Also, Captain America: The First Avenger, Iron Man 3, and unfortunately, to round things out for the MCU stuff, Thor: The Dark World, one of the weaker entries in the MCU for sure, even though we've gotten worse as of recently somehow. Uh, those being freaking uh, She-Hulk and Eternals, because boy are those movies not good at all. All right, let me just grab this stack and let's get rolling. So, these are my Black Friday and Criterion sale haul. So, I went to I went to Best Buy twice last month. So, first round through Best Buy, ended up getting Two Guns in 4K. I already talked about this one. The 4K looks stunning on this one, by the way. And, you know, I really enjoyed this movie. It's a really fun time. I recommend that one for sure. And then, one that I unfortunately don't recommend, but it's an okay time, I guess. Black Adam. It's just really kind of boring and very generic for a superhero movie, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. One that on rewatch, unfortunately, got a little worse for me was Asteroid City. Um, I I like this movie a lot. It's just really strange. Jesus. Um, yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. Cool Hand Luke on 4K. This one also looks amazing on 4K. And I already talked about that one. It's great. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, a pretty disappointing movie from this year. I don't think I reviewed it on here, but I didn't really like it that much. That was my first double feature in theaters, I believe, with that one and 65. I mean, unless you count Napoleon and Thanksgiving, but even I didn't finish watching either of those, so yeah. Barbie. I really dig this movie. I know a lot of people are really starting to hate on this one, and have been since it released. But it was, the Barbenheimer craze. This was on sale, surprisingly, even though it had literally just come out the month prior, like not even a month prior to Black Friday. So had to pick that one up. I think it was $9.99 or something like that at Best Buy. So yeah, and then this one, rewatch actually really helped this one for me. So Knock at the Cabin, M. Night Shyamalan's most recent movie, I think is actually a really darn good movie. Uh, it was solid. I really enjoyed that one. This one I ended up rewatching last month, and I mean, it was better than when I saw it in the theaters, but Megan, this movie is such a strange movie. I don't even know how it got so much success other than TikTok. At this point, you have to market everything to TikTok to make money, so I mean, I guess that doesn't surprise me, but regardless, this movie somehow made back more money than The Flash, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, um like so many movies this year, and it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a teeny tiny budget though compared to those movies, so I guess I see why. Um, then off Amazon, so that was my first time at Best Buy last month, and then I went over to Amazon, just ordered a couple stuff, couple things. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. I had a great time with this one in theaters. It's not as good as I remember. I've seen it like 3 times now, uh, including the time in theaters, and I don't think it's as good as I thought it was after theaters, but I think it's still pretty solid and one of the better Transformers movies for sure. And then this one I actually didn't have a slipcover when I got it, but Reservoir Dogs on 4K. When I ordered it off of Amazon, it didn't come with the slipcover, but then I went to Best Buy the second time and I found it with the slipcover, and I was like kicking myself because I didn't buy it at Best Buy. But then I just threw the slipcover on one of the movies that I got at Best Buy. Called it a day. Looks so much better with the slipcover on it, and the 4K looks stunning, by the way. Okay. Pulp Fiction on 4K. This is the last thing I ordered off of Amazon. This also looks amazing on 4K. Love this movie. It's probably my favorite Tarantino movie. Um, no, Kill Bill. Kill Bill is my favorite Tarantino. I don't know why I forgot about Tarantino, or like why I forgot about Kill Bill, but I love Kill Bill. I love Reservoir Dogs. Love Pulp Fiction. Yada yada yada. Love Tarantino. Um, no hard feelings. This is my second time at Best Buy now, so yeah, no hard feelings. This one was $12, and I just wanted to pull the trigger on it because I think that movie's great. And then at Astron 4K, this is like $8. This one goes down on sale pretty regularly, and it was like, you know what? I'll finally get it because why not? This one was $12, and it's an old movie, like I think 2016. I think it came out, and I'm sure it's been cheaper at some point, but I wanted to watch it because I heard it's great. Fury, uh, directed by David Ayer. I've heard it's a good movie, so I wanted to watch it, and Sony 4Ks are some of the best in the business, so why not? And then, rounding things out, the Criterion sale. I got 2 David Lynch movies, those being Eraserhead and Lost Highway. So we'll talk about Lost Highway in my December Wrapped video because I didn't end up watching or finishing it until December. So, yeah, I think this movie, by the way, spoiler alert, I think this movie is fantastic. Probably my favorite Lynch movie. And Eraserhead, not my favorite David Lynch movie, but I still think it's a fantastic movie. And also, I really wanted to just buy this one because it had, I think, 5 of Lynch's short films on it. So yeah, two amazing movies, one of which I think is like one of the best movies ever, even though it's very strange. So yeah, we'll talk about Lost Highway next time, and I'm sure we'll end up talking about uh, other David Lynch movies next month as well. As I look over there, and there's a whole other one that I didn't mention because I didn't get it this month. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much again. You guys are awesome. Thank you for blowing up that Expendables video. I'm kind of proud about that video. Not gonna lie, and I put quite a bit of effort in it, even though it's only like 5 minutes long. I'm glad that it got success. So yeah, I guess it's just taking bad movie, like talking about bad movies that really makes you blow up a little bit. I guess so. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you stuck through the whole thing, let me know, and thank you again. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.